Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax, a card first released in Battle Styles, is a super powerful Vmax, one of the best we've seen so far. With its attack Gmax Rapid Flow, allowing you to do 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, is super powerful, and with this year's rotation this card only got better. With the loss of bench barrier Mew we first saw come around in Unbroken Bonds, there's nothing players like me and you can do to stop this powerful card. This card can take clean knockouts on your rulebox Pokemon or your sitting bench utility Pokemon, for example Drizzle and Flaffies, and in today's video I'll show you guys what I do believe to be the best Rapid Strike Urshifu deck out there. Yo, what's up guys, Alien ESP here back with another video. Hope you're all doing well, but as I said, it's just all the talent and fun of this video. In today's video we're going over my personal Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax. This deck is super powerful, it is rotation proof, and is including a few cards from the later set Evolving Skies. Urshifu didn't get too many fantastic cards from Evolving Skies, but the 2 cards it did get with the 2 inclusions are honestly fantastic, ranging for a brand new rulebox Pokemon and a brand new supporter. Can you guess before I show them off in this video? I don't know, but I would love to see your predictions in the comments below. So without further ado, I don't want to waste your time. I want to show you guys this overpowered card. Let's get right into it, baby. So what overpowered deck are we cooking up today? Let's find out. Inside the cute deck box, as we always do in our deck profile fashions, we can find my 60 card deck for Rapid Strike Urshifu. We're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh, we're playing Pokemon, so our deck has to be exactly 60 cards, no more, no less. So let's take a look at the main attacker of this deck, being Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax, a card which first came around in Battle Styles, the first main expansion of this year, but since then it cannot go away, and we run 3 copies of this. Its a weakness to Psychic type can be quite a problem, with Shadow Rider characters being a huge card right now, as well as that Dragapult seem to be getting a resurgence, but hey, this card is still powerful nonetheless, and you can still win those matchups. If that doesn't show you how powerful this card is, that you can win your weakness matchups, I don't know what will. Taking a look at its attacks right now, first of all, Gale Thrust for 1 fighting energy, 30 damage base, but if this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, 120 more damage, doing a grand total of 150. An okay option, it's not a bad attack at all, but we do want to be doing this Gmax Rapid Flow, but maybe you haven't got your desired energy on the field, you can always do Gale Thrust for a good chunky amount of damage, but the main focus of this card would of course be Gmax Rapid Flow. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. You really don't be putting more than the 3 required energy for this Pokemon. It doesn't matter if you've got 5 energy on this Pokemon, because doing this attack means you have to discard it all. This attack does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, and of course if you decide to hit the bench you do not want to apply weakness or resistance, because the rules do not work like that. However, we have plenty more tricks within this card, whether that be a tool card or a support Pokemon, for example Persimmon, to increase this even more. This card is super powerful, 120, allowing you to take easy KOs on plenty of bench sitters, whether that be Sobbles, Drizzles, Flaffy, Mareeps, and so much more. Or you want to hit straight into your opponent's main attackers, you can always attack those rulebox Pokemon for a good chunky amount of damage, and that is why we have 3 copies. But of course, you want to evolve into the Vmax, you do need the V, and unlike the Shadow Rider deck list I brought you guys a couple days ago, we run all 4 copies from the set. With the Shadow Rider deck profile, make sure to check that out if you haven't already. We ran 1 promo version for the Glaceon Vmax matchup, whether with this deck we only run 4 copies, and all 4 are from the same set, being Battle Styles. So let's take a look at the V now. Strafe, 1 energy, 30 damage, allowing you to switch this Pokemon with your bench Pokemon. This sets up nicely with that Gale Thrust attack I just showed you guys. So if this is your first turn or you're going second, you can always attack, put this on your bench, and then if you have a way to get it back into the active, you can always do that. And if it has evolved up into the Vmax, since it's gone from the bench to the active spot, you can then do that desired 150 with Gale Thrust. 100 Furious Blows of 3 energy for 150. You really don't want to be doing this, but maybe you haven't gotten your Vmax out, but you have the energies on, you could do this for a decent amount of damage. Or maybe you've came across something like a Zamazenta V or a Glaceon Vmax where you can't hit into it with the Vmax. This could always be a good option to do as much damage as possible, because realistically you don't want to start pinging those tanky Pokemon with 30 damage, so you could attack hard with the 100 Furious Blow. And we run 4 copies of Rapid Strike Urshifu V, a 4-3 line for the Vmax. One of the 2 new cards this deck received from Evolving Skies would be Medicham V. Just like the Rapid Strike Urshifu, Medicham V also has the Rapid Strike emblem right up there. Smash Uppercut, 100 damage for 3 energy. The attack isn't affected by resistance. You don't really want to be doing this. This whole point of this card would be none other than Yoga Loop. Now, I know this is a big essay of text, but let me tell you, you definitely want to read this text. It's one of the most interesting attacks we've had for a while. It states, put 2 damage counts on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Very weak, I know, but let's read the next effect. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by this attack, take another turn. That's right, you can't use Yoga Loop twice in a row, but that is okay. You take another turn, allowing you to draw 1 more card, allowing you to put another supporter. This card is honestly fantastic. It's so good non-rapid strike decks, for example, Ice Rider, Telescopic Sight are abusing this card, and it's honestly so fantastic because it allows you to get ahead if you are not already. This card is so strong. I mean, did Rapid Strike Urshifu need a strong partner? No, it was strong enough, but Pokemon gave it that bone. And if you're somehow behind, whether that be on prize or in the game as a whole, you can always use this card as a speedy recovery to get in first place. But how can you ping damage to get your opponent within that 2 damage counter health range? We will get to that in a moment. Before we do get to that, Persimmon first reduced into Chilling Reign. This card is very good. Fling 1 energy, 20 damage from your opponent's Pokemon. This was not what I was talking about when it came to pinging your opponent health down. This is not the ability is very good. Your Rapid Strike Pokemon attack will do 30 more damage to your opponent's benched V and benched GX. GXs have rotated, and of course when it says V, Vmaxes always do count. We have a 1/1 line just like the Medicham, simply because as you can see there in the small print, you can only apply 1 Throne Coach ability at a time, so there's no point having 4 of a higher count in your deck, because even if you get them all out, you're not doing any extra damage, only that extra 30, but it's always very good to increase that damage output, as if Rapid Strike Urshifu wasn't doing enough damage in the first place. Now it comes to what I really was talking about when it comes to spreading damage. A card which is highly popular with a very strong evolution line as a whole would be Inteleon. We have 2 Inteleons from Chilling Reign and 1 Inteleon from Sword and Shield base. Looking at the Inteleon from Chilling Reign first, we can see quick shooting. Once during your turn, you can put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent Pokemon. And this is not limited to 1 quick shooting a turn. So if you have 2 of your quick shooting Teleons out, you can do this twice, allowing an extra 4 damage counters on the field. This really does pair nicely with getting your opponent's Pokemon's health really low, to then whether that be taking a KO with Yoga Loop, getting you that extra turn, or maybe you're going to hit them hard with the Gmax Rapid Flow. This works really well. Now to the 1 Inteleon Shady Dealings from Sword and Shield base. This is really good. Shady Dealings, such a powerful ability, getting so much love now, it makes so much sense. You know, this allowing you to get 2 trainer cards when you evolve this to your Drizzle, unlike the Drizzle which gets you 1. This is so powerful, and the Shady Dealings the Inteleon can really be used in the late game situations. Maybe you've been reduced to a Marnie hand, this can really get you out of it, and it's such a useful card. The attacks of them aren't too useful. You know, you do want to be attacking with the Pokemon I've just showed you, but hey, maybe you're in a very sticky situation. I imagine if you're not attacking with Rapid Strike Urshifu, you must be in a very bad situation, but they do have attacks which are okay. Next up, we do have Drizzles, just like the Inteleons I did show you. These cards are highly popular. Drizzle Shady Dealings from Sword and Shield base are probably the most expensive uncommon card in the game. We want 4 copies of them because of its ability, Shady Dealings. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you search your deck for any trainer card. This is fantastic and is not limited to once per turn. One thing I really do like to do, let's have multiple Sobbles out there. Drizzle down once, get a level ball out, then Drizzle again, and just keep doing that until I've got all my Drizzles out, just chaining like that. We do run some level balls, you'll see in a minute, because as you can see it has the 90 HP criteria, always good, and Drizzle is a really good card for its ability because it has that built-in consistency. Next up, to evolve into those Drizzles, we have 4 Sobbles. Love this artwork, how cute is he? This is the Chilling Reign Sobble. You want to use the Chilling Reign Sobble over the Sword and Shield Sobble, mainly for its attack. Keep calling, you know, maybe you haven't been able to put your energy on your Rapid Strike Urshifu V or Vmax, and it is you are going second. You can always use this attack to get your other Sobbles out there, but it does state basic Rapid Strike Pokemon, so unlike other decks which use this engine, you could use it to get out your rule box Pokemon, being of course the Rapid Strike V. Can't get the Vmax, it does have to be basic, but it's still very good with other decks which use this card. For example, Zacian V, can't really use that, can only use it to get out Sobbles with no other cards that are basics in that deck, being Rapid Strike Pokemon, as we run 4 copies of this fantastic card. Next up, the final Pokemon for this is a card used in basically every decks out there, most of them, only a couple which don't. For example, Victini Vmax, Crobat V, it's in here for its ability Dark Acid, reminiscent to Shaymin EX from Roaring Skies. The only difference, of course, being you can only use it once during your turn, unlike Shaymin EX where you could use it as many times as possible. That's kind of broken, honestly. This is very good. You have a low hand size. You can always use Crobat to get your hand up to 6. Shouldn't need to explain it, and I'm not going to, and that's why we have a 1 copy of Crobat V. Next up, some draw engines over to the trainers now. This is a very obvious one. Professor's Research, a fantastic ability. I've seen it reprinted over the years throughout Pokemon. I really do hope Pokemon will continue to give us more cards like this because they are fantastic at the end of the day. Discard your hand and draw 7 cards is fantastic. You've got a terrible hand, get your new cards. Maybe, hey, Professor's Research is the only card in your hand, then you're kind of cheating, I'm not gonna lie. Play that card, you have nothing to discard at that point, and then you just draw 7. Honestly, a fantastic card, and I don't think I need to explain anymore why this card is so great. This is one of the best trainer cards ever. Next up, one of these Sword and Shield exclusive trainer cards, a card we have not seen reprinted in previous eras. We have Marnie, and we have a 3 copy of Marnie. Unlike Professor's Research, where they have a 4 copy of it. Marnie is a fantastic card, getting you out of sticky situations as well as disrupting your opponent's hand is always fantastic. The card reads, each player shuffles their hand and puts it on the bottom of their deck. Of course, the person who plays then takes 5 cards, and then your opponent takes 4. This is fantastic, allowing you to draw more cards. Maybe you have a bad hand, or hey, you are disrupting your opponent. If they have a huge hand, reduce them to that 4 card hand, and that's fantastic. And that's why we want 3 copies of Marnie, a trainer card which first came around within Sword and Shield base set. Birdkeeper, a card which came in Darkness Blaze, then received its full art within Shining Fates. It's a very good switching option. Basically switch over in the form of a support card and allowing you to draw 3 cards. A very good option for switching. There's no need to have a load of switching cards in your deck right now. Air balloons and retreating and really do the job, because there aren't a lot of paralysis going around with Raichu and Alolan and Raichu GX rotating out now. You really don't need to worry about those special conditions. There really is a hindrance at the moment when it does come to special conditions. I will have a 1/1 copy of none other than Birdkeeper. Next up, a card I'm sure you're all familiar with, Boss's Order. This is such a powerful card, whether that be in the form of a supporter or in the form of ability. We can see with Umbreon VMAX, or past examples being Lycanroc GX, or if you want to go really, really far back, Luxray Level X. Gusting is such a powerful ability. Switching your opponent's bench Pokemon when they're active, in fact you get to choose that, is honestly even better. Let's say there's just one Pokemon that you need to knock out to secure that dub for that game. If it's on your opponent's bench, you can always gust up. It's very powerful, including this deck. Yes, a lot of you guys may be like, well, Rapid Strike Urshifu can just snipe to the bench. Well, maybe you're going to Gale Thrust for the knockout because you don't have that energy on board, or maybe you just want another card in the active position for whatever reason because it'll help increase your board state. This card allows you to do that. It's not like Pokemon Catcher where you have a 50-50 chance. You are 100% guaranteed, unless they're playing that random Shiftry from Vid Voltage where it turns into Hop. But hey, no one is playing that at the moment, and I don't think that card will see play. This card is honestly so powerful. Hence why we run 2 copies. The final supporter for this deck is the last card that was brand new from Evolving Skies, Ryan. Ryan reads, you can only play this card. Oh, we're getting a bit excited. Ryan is such a fantastic card. We 1 decided to play it in this deck, and 2, when showing off to you guys, my camera literally fell over. If that doesn't show you the power of this man right here, I simply do not know what will. But what does this card finally do? You can only play this card if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Never got this far when explaining what this card does. Wow, this is a brand new milestone. Ryan, please don't knock the camera over again. So what this card allows you to do is attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you then do that, you You can then search your deck for any card, put it into hand, then shuffle your deck. This fits perfectly with this deck because what you can do, get your basic fighting energy, attach it to Rapid Strike Urshifu, your Vmax, and then what you can do is search your deck out for a Rapid Strike energy. We'll get to the count of the energy in a second, and boom, you're already ready for another Gmax Rapid Flow. See what I mean? It's a fantastic combo. Get the basic fighting energy from the discard to your Pokemon, then you can manually attach a Rapid Strike energy. You can do that because it says the basic energy card is attached from the discard pile, not your hand. That is why that card is so fantastic. Next up, the built-in consistency. We have 4 copies of Quick Ball. Shouldn't need to explain this. You guys should be very familiar with Quick Ball right now, with basically every deck using it. You can only play this card if you discard 1 card from your hand, of course, allowing you to search your deck for a basic Pokemon. The consistency is just there. Don't want to spend too long on a card like Quick Ball because every deck basically uses a 4 count of it, and I do not want to waste your guys' time. Speaking of a ball with a 4 count, we have 4 copies of Level Ball. I alluded to this when talking about the Drizzle. This card is fantastic, used in most decks which are abusing that Sobble Inteleon engine, with it allowing you to get out both your Drizzles and Sobbles, allowing you to search out any Pokemon with 90 HP or less. This is super good because what you can do is play down 1 Sobble, Drizzle, Shady Dealings, get a Level Ball for another Drizzle, evolve that to your other Sobble, and you are seeing how that chain reaction works perfectly. This card is honestly so fantastic, and that is why we want 4 copies of it. Next up to a card we only have 3 copies of, Evolution Incense, another card I'm not going to spend too long on because it is used in most decks, allowing you to search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, put it in hand, then shuffle your deck. Just there for the consistency. What can you get? You can get your Vmaxes, you can get a Drizzle if your heart desires, or maybe an Inteleon. Who knows? It's up to you, you know. Level Ball can't get out the Inteleon, so why not use an Evolution Incense? It is totally up to you what you decide to use this card for, and that's why we want 3 copies with this. Next up, we have 2 copies of Switch, allowing you to switch your active Pokemon with one of your best Pokemon. Maybe your opponent decided to boss's order up a card to the active, hoping you can't get out and you can't retreat with it, maybe because you don't have the energy or you don't have the air balloon. Well, you can use this card as a manual retreat and you don't have to discard any energy, which is always great. As I did mention earlier, we don't really need to run high switch counts anymore, simply because of the fact there isn't a lot of special conditions going around with the rotation of Raichu and Alolan Raichu. So that is why we only have 2 copies of switch, because we do not simply need higher counts due to the fact of the lack of special conditions. But retreating is still a thing, and on the topic of getting your Pokemon in and out, pivoting in and out of the active and bench slot, you can use Air Balloon. We have 2 copies of Air Balloon with the Pokemon this card is attached to, having a 2 less retreat cost. Always good, you know, giving it that retreat is a fantastic card. You know, this can be used with Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax, you know, allowing it if you are going down the Gale Thrust route for whatever reason. Maybe if you guys are watching in the future, first of all, how is life? Maybe Pokemon has reprinted a bench barrier, so you can't hit the bench with your Gmax Rapid Flows, so maybe you're hitting your opponent with the Gale Thrust, so you do need to be getting in and out of the actives. This works perfectly with that, and you know, it works perfectly in general. Maybe your opponent has bossed up a card into the active, there's just a card in your active, you don't want it to be there. This works perfectly with that as well. That is why we have 2 copies of that. Now, dividing that by 2, we have a 1/1 copy of Energy Search. Energy Spinner has rotated out, meaning Energy Search finally will see some play, allowing you to search your deck for a basic energy card and revealing it. The only basic energies we do have in this deck are the 3 basic fighting energies, so that is the use of it. Not going to spend too long on that. Next up, we have a 1 copy of Tool Scrap, allowing you to choose up to 2 Pokemon tools attached to Pokemon, whether that be yours or your opponent's, and discard them. Maybe you've attached the tool to the wrong Pokemon, you just want to get rid of it, but this is often used to get rid of your opponent's Pokemon. Maybe, you know, your opponent is using the Rayquaza Vmax deck and they are pivoting in and out their Rayquaza Vmaxes, because of course that is how Fluffy accelerates. Fluffy can only accelerate to the bench, so you want to get your opponent's powered up Rayquaza Vmax stuck in the active. This card can be used to get rid of its air balloons, make it stuck in the active, making it so Fluffy simply cannot accelerate to it. If this deck wasn't strong enough against Rayquaza, allowing you to snipe out its Fluffies, I don't know what is, and that is why we have a 1/1 copy of Tool Scrapper. Another fantastic card we can use to buff the damage of this card even further is Telescopic Sight. The attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to 30 more damage to your opponent benched Pokemon V, including VMAXs and GX, unless you're playing an expanded that GX ability will not affect you any more than rotating up. This is fantastic. You can snipe so much extra damage, 120 base to 30 toughness, taking it to 150, and the extra damage from Persimmon. Man, this card is fantastic. If you have all those effects active, it gets to the point where you can simply just snipe sitting Crobat on the bench, and that is fantastic. How many decks are using Crobat at the current moment? Too many for the liking of Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax. So that's why we have a 1/1 copy of Telescopic Sight and allow you to take easy knockouts on bench sitters, for example Crobat. Next up, 2 copies of Tower of Water, reducing the retreat cost of all Rapid Strike Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, by 2. This card is honestly fantastic, pairs fantastically with Gale Thrust, allowing you to get in and out of the active for so many reasons. Maybe your opponent has bosses, orders, upper Pokemon you don't want in the middle, and so many more reasons. This card is honestly fantastic, and that's why we have 2 copies of this. Don't want to go in detail about these obvious cards. I'm sure all of you guys are aware why we have these cards. They are so powerful and they work so well, as well as that it can be used to buff Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak doesn't really affect Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax that much, only really does affect your Crobat. Maybe you're about to Crobat, who knows, with all of your main attackers, Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax and Medicham V not having abilities, Path to the Peak doesn't affect you that much. Another pro of this deck, of course, but you can always use it to bump annoying stadiums that are in the way, or maybe your opponent has a Crystal Cave and is healing your Pokemon and that is annoying you. Next up to the energies, 4 copies of Rapid Strike Energy. This is powerful, as very powerful, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, which of course is Rapid Strike. It provides 2 in any combination of water and fighting, but of course with this deck it is only providing the fighting force. This is so good. Instead of Gmax Rapid Flow being needed for 3 energy attachments, you can attach a basic fighting and then attach one of these bad boys. This card is so powerful, but of course when you do use Gmax Rapid Flow, you have to discard all the energy attached, so you really don't want to be attaching 2 Rapid Strike energy to one of your Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmaxes, because you do have to discard it, and unlike Single Strike, you do not have a good way to get it back. Single Strike has earned a vitality, and this deck doesn't have anything like that. So you really do want to be careful like that, and that's why we run 4 copies. Next up, a 1/1 of Capture Energy. Capture Energy is a fantastic card, as one of this card is attached to one of your Pokemon, provides a colorless energy, and when you do put it, allows you to search deck for a basic Pokemon and put it straight onto your bench. I'm telling you guys this now, do not make the mistake I made. I played this card once in a tournament, an unofficial tournament of course, play it down, I get a Crobat V out, and I forget it goes straight to the bench. I'm thinking, okay, I can get my Crobat V out, I can a Dark Asset to increase my hand, because this was the last card in my hand. Well, no, my opponent corrected me on it, good on them. I then realised quickly I cannot use Dark Asset, it goes straight to the bench. So I'm sat there, I've got my Crobat filling up my bench with a 0 card hand. What a joke. You guys are probably bursting out in laughter right now. This card, besides that, ever is super good. You can get out your Sobbles, or maybe you want to get a Rapid Strike V, or Medicham. Any basic Pokemon you see in this deck is fantastic. Just remember, do not get out your Crobat. Why would you want to get out a Crobat and not use the ability? I do not know, and that is why we have a 1/1 copy of Capture Energy. And the final 3 cards of the deck, 58, 59, and 60. 3 copies of the boring old brown fighting energies. Works perfectly with Rapid Strike Urshifu. Attach one of these, then attach a Rapid Strike energy, and you are rolling with your Gmax Rapid Flow, or attach one of these and you are rolling with your Gale Thrust. A super great card, can be searched out with energy search, and it's honestly fantastic to have both special energy and of course basic energy, giving you all those options, and this deck is honestly fantastic. What a fantastic card, and what I do believe to be the best possible 60 card combination. If I didn't convince you, and if right hand knocking over the camera didn't convince you, I do not know what will. Have you guys tried out Rapid Strike Urshifu? If so, I would love to know the builds you did use in the comments down below. As I did mention at the beginning of this video, I really do think this is the best Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax. I've seen a couple lists out there utilising the Path to the Peak build. You just start shutting down so many decks out there. For example, Shadow Radical Calyx Vmax Underworld Door does not work with that Stadium in play, and of course you are weak to that deck, so that could be a fantastic match. I mean, on the topic of Shadow Rider Calyx Vmax, I did a deck list showing you guys my personal Shadow Rider Calyx Vmax, and I do think it is the best one around, and I quickly want to say a massive thank you. As I'm making this video, that video currently has 99 views. Honestly insane, one of the best videos I've ever made, both in views wise, watch time wise, and just in the interaction as a whole. I want to say a huge thank you to you guys. Seeing those numbers when I woke up and saw those numbers on the reviews, it made me so happy, and I would love to know if you tried out that deck as well. And the comment question day for this video, not the Shadow Rider video, is will you be trying out my 60 card list for none of them Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax? So a huge thank you for watching this video, and if you did check out that Shadow Rider video, thank you so much. The 99 views was incredible, coming straight from the heart. That meant so much to me. I was honestly so happy when I saw this, and if this didn't get a fraction of that views, I'd be so happy. That is all for me into the video. Make sure to answer comment question today, which is will you be trying out this 60 card list with this bad boy sniping your opponent's Pokemon just to the moon, giving you those easy wins. But I'm Alien ESP. You guys have been the best. I mean the best on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.